Gabriel. Launches touchdown. Nick Anderson.
On the goal line, waiting for the throw.
Ewers hoping for time to launch. They come after him. Does step forward. Hit as he throws. A high ball near the goal line. Broken up. Batted down. Oklahoma.
I swear these weeks of college football just keep getting better and better. So many games that went down to the wire, a couple upsets thrown in here, and a few close calls. I want to get into all of that, but first I'm going to show you guys my top 25. I'm going to flash on the screen for like 10 seconds, and then we're going to get right into the video. And here it is, guys. A lot of moving around, especially in the back end. I'm going to explain all of that later in the video. But first, let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines. They beat Minnesota 52-10. Honestly, guys, Michigan is the most dominant team this year. They're blowing everyone out. They're consistent. And it doesn't really seem like any team can stop them. I know their schedule has been very meh recently, but they're gonna be tested. They're playing Penn State. They're playing Ohio State. You guys will see them get tested. But for right now, they're my number one team. And then hopping in my number two team is the Georgia Bulldogs. They beat Kentucky 51-13. And now this is the real Georgia team that everyone's been waiting to see. I know a lot of people have been saying Kentucky is overrated, but they still had a really good running back, Ray Davis, and Georgia completely took care of him. They did whatever they wanted with Kentucky, and this was just a very impressive showing from the Bulldogs. Moving on to my number three team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They beat Maryland 37-13, and I had Maryland ranked in my top 25 last week. They're a really good team. Obviously, Louisville is too. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But Ohio State, they have some issues. Their offensive line is not good. They're missing their main running back this week. And honestly, I think their quarterback, Kyle McCord, he is not that accurate, nor is he that good, in my opinion. They need to really get better if they're going to beat Penn State and later on Michigan at the end of the year. But I still really think they have a good defense, and they have a good chance as long as that defense plays well. And then sitting behind them, I have Penn State. They're on a bye week. I just think they're a little bit better than Oklahoma. Oklahoma I put behind. Oklahoma actually won their game against Texas, the Red River rivalry, 34-30 off of a walk-off touchdown with like 11 seconds left, I think. This was such an amazing game. It went back and forth the entire time. I think Texas turned the ball over 3 times, which is the reason they lost, in my opinion, which is why I did not put Oklahoma above like Penn State or Ohio State, just because they wouldn't have won this game without those mistakes. But I get it, they won the game. It was a huge game. Oklahoma, welcome to the top 5. And after them, I have Florida State. Florida State beat up on Virginia Tech 39-17. I don't know how I feel about Florida State. They just keep like coasting by, not looking the best every week. So they're going to keep falling in the rankings whenever the chance is given until they can show that they are worthy of being a top 5 team. Because right now, I don't think they are, which is why I have them sitting on the outside. And right after them, I have Washington. They were on a bye. And after them, I have Oregon. They were on a bye. Then coming in at number 9 is USC. They had a scare against Arizona. I don't know what USC is doing. They cannot cover a fly in the secondary. It is a big issue. They're probably going to lose 2 or 3 games this year. That's my opinion, because they're letting Arizona pass the ball around on them. I know Arizona played a good game against Washington, but to be beating USC 17-0 at the beginning of this game is absolutely insane. Then rounding out the top 10, I have Texas. They lost to Oklahoma on a heartbreaker at the end. I did not drop them out of the top 10. I think they are the best one-loss team, and they have a win against the team I have right behind them. So of course they're going to get the nod in the top 10. The team behind them is Alabama, coming in at 11. They're staying the same. They ended up beating Texas A&M 26-20 against Texas A&M's backup quarterback. So honestly, it wasn't that impressive. Texas A&M had so many chances to win. They just kept blowing it over and over again, like in normal Texas A&M fashion. And then coming in behind them, we have North Carolina. They won their game very convincingly against Syracuse 40-7. Drake May was 33 for 47, 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. Absolutely insane. This team is going to continue to rise. They're looking really good. They're beating teams very convincingly, and a lot of people think they're overrated, but I think this team is better on defense, and I think they have a really good offense with an amazing quarterback. They can go far. They're at my 12th spot. And right behind them, I have Louisville. Louisville jumping for me from not ranked all the way up to 13 because they laid the pounding on Notre Dame. They technically won this game 30-13 or 33-13, something like that. Notre Dame got a garbage touchdown at the end, so I really don't count. The end score is 33-20. Sam Hartman played a horrible game. Jack Plummer, he played great. Louisville's defense played great. And honestly, the only reason I kept Notre Dame in the top 25 is because of all the teams at the end that lost, and all the teams I had on the outside looking in also lost. And I guess I'm giving them a bone because they've been playing like 3 ranked teams, 2 back-to-back on the road on primetime. That team has to be worn out. Like, they have to be worn out at this point. So I understand where they're coming from. I still think they're a really good football team. But Louisville has really proved me wrong. I thought their offense was nothing. I thought their defense was pretty good, but they had no offense. They showed none of this against NC State. Maybe it was just the environment and it being a home game, but we're gonna see. I have them on my 13th spot, and then my 14th spot we had a shootout, but Oregon State took care of business against California. Now DJ Uiagalelei has 5 passing touchdowns in this game, and that is absolutely nuts for him because we're not used to seeing him throwing this many touchdowns, especially when he was at Clemson. But one thing that really shocks me is Oregon State's defense. They're playing so bad in this game against a California team that's really not that good. They should not have scored in the 30s against them. I really thought Oregon State's defense was more solid than that, but I guess it's very situational. California is at home, so I do understand that. California's defense isn't playing well at all either, obviously. But this win is good enough to keep the Beavers in the top 15. And speaking of top 15, rounding it out, we have Ole Miss. They beat Arkansas at home 27-20. Now it's really weird. I feel like Arkansas is getting close to like these good teams. I think Ole Miss is a good team, but they're always overrated. They've been overrated the past few seasons. Lane Kiffin cannot win a game when it counts, and that's a problem. But kudos from Arkansas for sticking in this game. They played decent. They couldn't run the ball, but KJ Jefferson was able to do a little bit. And their defense held an Ole Miss potent offense to only 27 points at home. It's pretty impressive. But moving on from them, I have a team that also had a bye week. At 16, we have Utah. And then right behind them, I think Tennessee also had a bye week. They're at my 17th spot. Duke also had a bye week. They're at my 18th spot. Then at the 19th spot, we finally have a game, and that's UCLA. They beat Washington State 25-17. Carson Steele ran for 140 yards against Wazoo. And UCLA also hold them to 12 yards rushing. That's absolutely insane. Cameron Ward, the quarterback that everyone's been talking about, he was 19 for 39. He didn't even have 200 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. There were so many turnovers in this game. Both teams threw 2 interceptions, and Wazoo lost 2 fumbles. You cannot turn the ball over 4 times and beat a good team at home. I still think they're a really good team. They're just not there yet when it comes to rushing the ball or defensively for me. And they're right behind UCLA right now with that 1 loss, so they round out my top 20. While LSU moves up to 21 for me. They won their game against Missouri 49-39. Missouri was a ranked team. I don't think they're that good, but they are a ranked team, and LSU won, so we have to keep them in the rankings, sadly. Jalen Daniels, he had 3 touchdowns in this game. Diggs ran for 533 yards for LSU and 527 yards for Missouri. It's absolutely insane how bad LSU's defense is, especially from a year ago. Everyone thought this defense would improve, but they just got way worse. Perkins is a complete no-show. This team reminds me of a worse Oklahoma team from back in the day. No defense, just offense. Then right behind LSU is where I slid Notre Dame. They're sitting at the 22nd spot, so they dropped 12 spots for me after getting destroyed at home against Louisville. I put them above LSU just because LSU won on the road against a ranked team today and Notre Dame got killed. So I am going to reward LSU. They're both 2-loss teams, but honestly, Notre Dame might be the better team overall. I'm not sure yet. They're kind of a toss-up, but they won, Notre Dame lost. That's why I have them there. And after them, we have some new teams. I have Air Force sitting at the 23rd spot. They're actually on a bye. They're 5-0 though, and this team has looked good. If you guys do look at the teams that they have beaten, it's not that impressive. but if you look at how they won those games, they're a good team. And behind them, I have another team that was on a bye, but also 5-0 is James Madison. James Madison just joined the FBS, and they've been ranked 2 years so far. Very impressive by them. And rounding out my top 25, I do have Miami. The reason I kept Miami in my rankings after losing to Georgia Tech 23-20 is because of that terrible call to run the ball at the end of the game by Miami's head coach. Fumbled it, turned it over, and Georgia Tech threw a touchdown to win the game. Obviously, I think Miami is better than Georgia Tech, and they should have won this game, which is why I still have them in the top 25. Even though Tyler Van Dyke played a terrible game, he threw 3 interceptions. He looked awful most of the time. And honestly, losing to Georgia Tech is always a terrible thing to look at because Georgia Tech really isn't a good team, even though they're working in the right direction. I do like their coach. They will continue to get better and better. Also, I want to mention a couple of the teams that I had on the outside are Tulane, Wisconsin, and West Virginia. West Virginia has been a surprise team this year. They only have 1 loss. Wisconsin also only has 1 loss. I teeter-tottered putting Wisconsin in the top 25, but they only beat Rutgers 24-13, and to me that's not good enough to justify putting them in. So they're right on the outside for me personally. Also, I wanted to apologize to you guys because this video wasn't as deep as my other videos. I had to rush it a little bit. There's a lot I have to do. I have to wake up in about 3 hours to drive to another city, which is also a 3-hour drive. So hopefully you guys understand. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and comment down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.